My life consists of hot and cold streaks, like it's a Katy Perry song. You know, I'll have these little streaks where a lot will go right, my luck will be really good, I'll be super happy, I feel the rewards of the universe. And then there will be some of these cold streaks where my luck is so bad that it's comical. It makes me feel like I'm in a sitcom or something and I'm like one of the side characters. And that's exactly what happened to me over the last 2 weeks. I wanted to come on here and do a nice little old-fashioned rant story time about what went down. This all started simply because I wanted to upgrade my PC. If you guys didn't know, I stream almost every day on twitch.tv/NotRyanAbe. If you have not followed that, links in the description. Please follow it. I'd love to have you there. Twitch is fun. It's confusing, but it's fun. And since I stream a lot and play a lot of games now, I figured it was time for me to upgrade my PC a bit. I needed a better graphics card. During the pandemic, when things were crazy, they were like $2,000 for a 3070 graphics card, which I thought was insane. So I waited up until a couple weeks ago, saw one on sale on Best Buy for $600 and figured, you know what? I'm going to reward my stream and myself with a little upgrade here. So I went on over to Best Buy and I bought it. It was $600. I put on my Best Buy credit card, came home. My buddy Mondo, who works with JC and us, came over, installed it, and then there was no power to the computer. Now the problem is, before this happened, I didn't really think too much about it. We just turned it off and then he installed the graphics card and then it stopped powering on. I guess my power supply could not work with the new graphics card, so it needed more power. But Mondo was like, you know what? Guess what? JC, who I live with, he owns the house I live in now. He's a rich man. He has an extra one. Just so happens he's like a computer store. He's like a literal Best Buy himself. That man has a lot of things. So I was like, great, let's test that one out. We put that one in the PC and it doesn't work. So I'm like, okay. So then I got to drive back to Best Buy, which is a 35-minute drive because it's not the closest one. They don't have anything in stock. They just have Reese's peanut butter cups. Literally, that's all they seem to have at that store. Had to drive 35 minutes to get an extra power supply. That was $250. So now we're starting to check up a little bit on these boxes here. But at this point, I'm not too upset about it. Whatever it happens, I'm upgrading my computer. So go back, plugs it in on the kitchen. We have everything set up. It's like it's like a tower. And there's power and we celebrate. We basically embrace with one of those like high five hand hug things that, are a little awkward, but just it's a positive emotion. Take it in, then we set it up with my monitors, and then it is not working. It's going to this BIOS setting thing. It doesn't boot up Windows. Nothing is working. I turn it on and nothing is working. Everybody thinks they can figure out what it's going to be. A day goes by, nobody can figure out what the hell is going on. Then at this point, I take it to a place called I Break, You Fix. That's what it sounds like a caveman wrote it, like I break, you fix. I go to that place. The guy says, yeah, we can do a diagnostic report on it. We'll figure that out. I say, great. How soon can you do that? He says, probably around 6 to 7 days. So if I pay right now, I'm going to drop it off to you. It's going to sit here and collect dust for 1 week before you can plug in a USB and run diagnostics. And he said, yes, we're understaffed. And I said, I understand. I just hate everything. So then I brought it back home because I wasn't about to do that. It was like $250 to sit there for a week. So then Mondo was like, you know what it might be? It might be your motherboard. And motherboard to me sounds like a spaceship. So I was like, that sounds scary and expensive. It wasn't that expensive, but it was scary. I drive 35 minutes back to that Best Buy in Porter Ranch, California. I get the upgraded motherboard for like $220. I drive it home. Mondo uninstalls everything else, reinstalls the new motherboard, and then nothing happens. It's the same thing before. We can't do anything. And at this point, I am absolutely panicking. I haven't been able to work at this point in over a week. Can't upload anything. Can't do anything on my computer, right? It's gone. So I have to resort to using my 2015 MacBook laptop, which takes about 3 minutes to load any website. Literally Amazon it's like dial-up internet from 2005, like it's AOL or something on there. It's the worst. About 600 times throughout this process, I kept saying, hey, is everything good with like all of my hard drives and stuff? Because I was like, I have so many videos saved that I haven't uploaded yet from all the Twitch streams, and I have so many files of like things that I use for overlays when I use Photoshop, and everyone assured me, oh, trust me, that's fine. Everything will be fine when it comes to that. And not to foreshadow anything, but no, everything was not fine. So after the motherboard thing didn't work, I have now spent well over $1,000 at this point to just stare at a computer that won't turn on, which was really, 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 really exciting. Then finally, I was like, well, I don't think anyone's going to be able to fix this here, so I have to take it somewhere. So I took it to Geek Squad. Let's go to Best Buy. Paid $200 for their Total Tech program, where they have to fix basically everything. You just authorize it, and they have to fix it. So I drove there in the pouring rain, a nice 45-minute drive this time, trying to do my best to, I was like covering a child or like a newborn baby when I was trying to carry my desktop into the Best Buy without getting wet, drop it off, and then I don't hear a thing for 4 days. I might as well took it to I Break You Fix because this is the same thing. You bring it to Best Buy and they just stare at it, I guess, and nothing happens. So I was like, well, that's great. Then finally they gave me an update, and the update was that my hard drives were gone. They might have exploded or sparked when we plugged in the graphics card into the wrong power supply. So now I am told that everything on my computer is completely wiped. It is completely gone. I put 230 hours on stream into The Sims for all of it to go away in 1 second. And I'm told by Anthony at Best Buy. So now I'm so sad and I'm panicking. I'm like, well, that's the worst news. At this point, I was like, I just want a computer to work. If it has to be completely fresh and all this stuff, fine. I just want a computer that works. Okay, and I felt bad for the guy because I do believe he was probably like, I understand. Okay, calm down. So basically, my computer was built from the ground up again. I had to spend $350 on 2 more hard drives that I already had. So then I bring it home in the pouring rain, and then we go to turn it on, and everything's working. And then Mondo says, well, you don't have Windows. And I was like, well, what does that mean? How is that possible? And he said, well, that's because instead of installing Windows, they installed Microsoft Outlook. So my computer had Microsoft Word and Excel like I was heading back into high school years instead of having Windows. And they charged me $149 for it. So then I called them and I said, hey, you guys didn't put Windows on my computer. And they're like, oops, my bad. And I was like, cool, can we just do like a over the phone return here? And then they said, you're going to have to come in store. So then I drove 45 minutes again to the store. And when I got to the store, the guy that did it said, oh, you could have did this over the phone. I don't know why they made you come in. And then I set arson to the building. Okay, I didn't, but I thought about it. I gave it thought. So then I drove home again in complete silence. There's no more music at this point. And we find that one of the drivers isn't correctly installed, but Windows is. So then Mondo fixes the drivers. And now finally I have my computer, but I have to redo everything, re-download everything, rebuy things. But I was like, you know what? At least it's over. I've spent almost $2,000, but at least it's over. My luck is done. A couple days go by. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stream today. I'm going to stream. I'm excited about it. I'm going to have my first stream back in my setup again after 2 weeks. This is great. It was really rainy out, and I was watching a little husky pup named Malibu. So I was like, you know what? This would be perfect. We'll do a little cozy stream. I then have to go out back because the wind is whipping so hard. This rain is out of nowhere. The hot tub cover on our hot tub flies off, and it's heavy. And I'm like, whoa, I don't want this to fly over into the neighbor's yard. I go out there fighting what felt like 60-mile-an-hour winds. I get the hot tub cover, put it back on. I go inside. Then I see Malibu's outside. I corral her. I put her there. I go in my room. I look out my window, and I see a tree on my car. And it was one of those situations where I just stood there and stared at my car and the tree for about 1 minute, thinking maybe I'm hallucinating. Maybe the smoking is catching up to me. Something's happening in my brain. This can't be real. It was real. It was very real. There was a giant 25-foot tree that was in the middle of the entire road. I think there was a squirrel on the ground at some point, and the back of my car was smushed, and I did not know what to do. And then what I learned is there's nothing you really can do, because I had to wait 2 days for the city to come by and remove the tree from the street for 2 days straight. Everybody in the neighborhood came by to take videos and pictures of the car because it looked ridiculous, and there was a tree in the middle of the street. So that was so awkward and embarrassing because it's right out front of my window. So that was a very bad 48 hours. Also, quick thing, before I left my room and saw the tree, I opened my window to make sure it was actually on my car because the dogs kind of like put their nose up against the window and it gets a little bit dirty. And I left my window open, looked at that, then went outside, was like, wow, okay. I came back in about 45 minutes to an hour later, and I forgot I left my window open, and I went to do one of those classic face plops on your bed when you're just like over life. So I go to do the old plop, and then my face hits the memory foam, and I get splashed with water because I left the window open, and my entire bed and room was now covered in water. And I laid there soaked. So then I set arson to our house. I'm just kidding, but I was very sad. So yeah, I just been dealing with insurance stuff for the last couple days here, and I apologize for not uploading, but that has been my last 2+ weeks, and I hated it. And it looks like luck is turning around, and it's not monsooning outside, and I haven't had anything fall on me tree related in the last 24 to 48 hours, which is things are looking up.